Halloween had always been Emily's favorite night of the year. The chill in the air, the glow of carved pumpkins, and the echo of laughter as children ran door to door made the night feel alive with excitement. This year, however, she wasn't out trick-or-treating or attending parties. Her friends had all canceled their plans, leaving her alone in the house. Just a quiet night, she told herself, settling into the cozy comfort of her blanket with a horror movie playing faintly in the background. Outside, the occasional knock of trick-or-treaters broke the stillness, their tiny voices shouting thank you as she handed out candy. Around 10 p.m., the streets began to empty. The laughter and chatter faded, replaced by an eerie silence. Emily prepared to call it a night, turning off the porch light to signal she was done handing out treats. As she locked the front door, the doorbell rang one final time. Annoyed at the late visitor, she opened the door to find no one there. The street was empty, lit only by a flickering street lamp. But on the porch lay a small, unmarked envelope. Curious, Emily picked it up. It felt heavier than an ordinary envelope. When she tore it open, a single photograph fell out. Her stomach turned cold as she stared at the image. It was her, sitting on the couch just moments ago, the blanket draped over her legs, the TV flickering in the background. The photo was taken from inside the house. Heart racing, Emily glanced around the darkened living room. Every shadow seemed alive. The windows were locked and the curtains were drawn, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Her phone buzzed suddenly, startling her. A message from an unknown number popped up on the screen. You left the back door unlocked. Panic surged through her veins. She bolted to the kitchen, where the back door stood slightly ajar, swaying in the cold breeze. She locked it quickly, her trembling hands fumbling with the latch. Was someone in the house? She grabbed a knife from the countertop, her breath coming in shallow gasps. She dialed 911, but the call failed to connect. The signal was fine just moments ago, but now her phone showed no bars. She tried to calm herself. Maybe it was a prank, she thought, kids messing around on Halloween, but deep down, she knew it was more than that. The sound of slow, deliberate footsteps above her head shattered her thoughts. Her blood ran cold. She wasn't imagining it, someone was upstairs. The creak of the floorboards seemed deafening in the quiet house. Emily pressed herself against the wall, clutching the knife tightly. Should she run, hide, fight? Her thoughts were a whirlwind of terror. The footsteps stopped, silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Then, a faint knock came from the closet in the hallway. Emily froze. The closet door was just a few feet away. She hadn't been upstairs all day, which meant whoever was in the house had been hiding there for hours, waiting. The knock came again, louder this time, as if to taunt her. Emily's knees threatened to give out, but she forced herself to move. Slowly she edged toward the front door, keeping her eyes on the closet. She reached for the doorknob, only to find it wouldn't turn. Someone had locked her inside. The knock turned into a scratching sound like fingernails dragging against the wood. "I know you're out there," a voice whispered from inside the closet, low and raspy, barely audible over the pounding of her heart. Emily let out a choked sob, her mind racing for a way out. She remembered the basement. A small window down there might be her only escape. Moving as quietly as possible, she backed away from the closet and made her way toward the stairs leading to the basement. She descended into the darkness, her phone flashlight guiding the way. The basement felt colder than usual, the air heavy with dampness. As she reached the window, she realized with horror that it was too small to crawl through. She was trapped. Above her, the sound of footsteps resumed, descending the stairs slowly, methodically. The knife felt useless in her shaking hand. "Why are you hiding, Emily?" the voice called out, playful yet menacing. It was a man's voice, unfamiliar and cruel. She hadn't told anyone she'd be alone tonight, so how did he know her name? The footsteps stopped at the top of the basement stairs. Emily crouched behind an old stack of boxes, barely daring to breathe. The man began humming a tune, a haunting melody that echoed in the confined space. Suddenly the humming stopped. The silence was more terrifying than the sound. Emily strained her ears, trying to locate him. Then the basement light flicked on, flooding the room with an unforgiving brightness. He was there. A tall figure stood at the bottom of the stairs, a mask obscuring his face. In his hand was a camera, its lens trained directly on her. "Smile," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. Emily screamed and lunged at him with the knife, but he sidestepped her easily, grabbing her wrist and slamming her into the wall. The world spun as her head hit the concrete. Through her blurred vision, she saw the man lift the camera again. The flash was blinding. When she woke up, the house was eerily quiet. She was back on the couch, the blanket draped over her legs, the TV playing the same horror movie as before. For a moment, she thought it had all been a nightmare, but then she saw the envelope on the coffee table. Inside were more photographs, of her unconscious, her lifeless eyes staring into the lens. The last photo was the most chilling. It showed her, sitting on the couch at that very moment, staring at the envelope, while a masked figure loomed behind her in the reflection of the TV screen. This vivid, suspenseful story taps into primal fears, being watched, trapped, and hunted in your own home.